Hi, hope you're doing well in these strange times. I'm Dave Westerveld, and I want to talk to you today about a few tips and strategies for testers. We're living in strange times. We're dealing with strange circumstances, and many of us have been thrust into working from home full time when maybe we've never really done it before or done it very little. So I wanted to just talk about a few tips and advice. The first thing that I want to talk about is pretty general. It's the kind of thing you've probably heard a number of times, but I want to remind you of it again, and that's set those boundaries. Give yourself that mental space to take a break. Set those boundaries in place that just because your office is right there, just because your computer is right there, doesn't mean you need to be working at all hours of the day. It's okay to take a break, and it's a good thing to set those boundaries. Spend time with your family, spend time doing some other online social activities, whatever you can do with physical distancing going on. But give yourself some space to do some of that stuff. But the other things that I want to talk about are a little more specific to testers. I anticipate that as a tester, you're feeling this. I know I am. And that's the difficulty of doing cross-browser or cross-device testing. So I have a number of different browsers on my laptop, of course, that I can use. But what about when I want to try out some different screen sizes or different devices, or maybe I have a Windows laptop, so maybe I want to try something out on a Mac. Those things can be very challenging if you're used to having a test lab where you can pull out a device and use it and try things out on it. So I've done some testing with my own personal phone and device, and that helps. But other things are some tools that you might be able to use. There are companies like Cross-Browser Testing or Sauce Labs that can give you some of this cross-browser capability and cross-device capability. So tools like that may be worth looking into if your company can support you in that. And then also VMs. So many laptops and computers come with very easy to set up and use VMs. So I would certainly recommend looking into that, seeing what you can do in terms of getting the devices that you need. Because in times like this, we still need to be able to check all the things that we want to check. And so working with the tools and platforms, things like TestProject and other tools as well, that can enable cross-browser testing is an important consideration and thing to spend some time thinking about as a tester. The other thing I want to talk about is a little bit to do with process and how things work. So one of the things that I really believe about quality is that it's a team sport. Quality isn't just something that belongs to testers. It's not just something testers need to do, but it's something that an entire team needs to embrace and make a part of their team culture. Now, it can be challenging when we have these communication challenges that we get with remote work to maintain that. In a lot of ways, we're all off in our own offices or our own houses or living rooms or wherever we are, working on our own, and it's a little harder to get that collaboration and team effort on things to happen. So obviously there's tools, Zoom, Google Meets, whatever online video conferencing technology you have that can enable that, but also just I would encourage testers to think about how we can ensure that we're not letting these silos get created. We're not letting these over the wall, developer throws some code over the wall to the tester does some testing and throws it back to the developer, but where we can have a much more collaborative relationship with each other in helping to make sure that we're achieving quality. So in times like this, it's a lot of things that we need to rethink. There's some great opportunities here for us to think about how we can actually leverage some of this technology. And I want to encourage you to take the time to think about how you can do that in this time, and to also think carefully about how we ensure that the way that we interact with each other as teams goes well. So stay safe, and I hope that you are able to successfully navigate the challenges that we have before us today.